Hey, how's it going, everybody? So I put a couple videos up of me running the saw. Honestly, guys, I think the rebuild work is done. If you watch the videos, the saw I think ran pretty good. I mean, I got to do a whole lot of tuning on it, but from what I could feel and hear, at least, I think it's gonna run fine, guys. I think it's gonna be a decent saw for how old it is. Um, I had to rebuild the carburetor. That was the problem. So the carburetor, my guess is that this is the old. I don't know what this is technically called, like filter on the top of the carburetor. If you had it on the thing and you pressed it, like it's supposed to be kind of, fluid. This one kind of feels a little more like rigid, and you can see if you zoom in real close, you're not going to be able to see it on camera. You can see some darkening around some of this material. So it wasn't moving as it should have, guys. So I think what was happening, and so well, let me back up to that. So before I rebuilt the carb, the saw would fire very inconsistently, and when it did, it had no idle, regardless of how I tuned it or not. And when it fired, I had to have it on max throttle. So I had to be sending as much air in as I could. So I think my carburetor was bad because this was bad. Because when this was not pressing my metering lever down, unless I was sending the max amount of air I could into it. I think that's what happened, at least to my understanding of how carburetors work so far. Again, it's very limited, but I think because if the carburetor was not sending air correctly through, as it should have been, it would not have been sent, and it only sent enough when it was on full out max throttle. It wouldn't have been working on if I didn't have the throttle max out, so it wouldn't have been sending air, and it would have been flooding the engine, and that's what was happening. I was flooding it very consistently. So I think the carburetor, the carburetor was bad. So I had gotten a rebuild kit a while back, guys, but I never had used it. I just didn't do it. So I replaced all the parts in the rebuild kit on this Walbro carburetor, and now we're firing first pull very consistently. So obviously it was the carburetor. It's sending air as it should now. I got to mess with the low and high jets, obviously, to get that dialed in. I don't know. I got to figure out, guys, what the idle speed should be relatively for this saw out of the box is what I'm kind of hoping for. The stuff I did to it to rebuild it, I don't think should mess with the idle speed. But I'm going to look up what people are suggesting for this if I can find it, and then I'm going to record or try to record what it actually is with. I don't know if you've seen that. I made an Arduino tachometer for small engines. So I'm going to wire that up to this the best I can. I'm going to get a reading. It's very accurate. Well, not very. It's accurate to like plus or minus 50 to 100. So you get a good approximation, I think. I'm going to wire that up. I'm going to write that down, log what I'm seeing for idle speed as well as max RPM, because max RPM is, I think, what I'm focusing on for the saw. Again, I still have to either replace the chain or sharpen the chain. I think I'm just gonna replace the chain. I want to get a longer bar is what I want to do. I might have to wait a little bit of that. I just don't really want to spend the money on a new bar right now, so I might just again try to sharpen the chain or get a new chain, and then I gotta do a bunch of test runs in some wood and see how it actually pulls. It's definitely not. I don't think the RPMs are where I want it to be at in terms of speed. I think I want it to be a lot more powerful than what it is. It seems like a fine. It seems like a fine saw, I think, for some light to medium stuff. But I would like to increase the overall speed, is what I'm thinking. At least that's the impression that I'm getting from this first. From testing it today, but again, that's probably going to change when I get a new saw and actually put it in some logs. So that'll probably change everything I just said. But a couple notes on the saw, guys. So we did the carburetor rebuild, so that was the problem. So bad carb, replaced all the stuff, and now it's functioning properly. It's a Walbro carburetor, really clean condition. I cleaned it out, so it wasn't none of the ports or lines were clogged. I really think it just came down to this part was no good out of the box. So I think that was the original from like 45-ish years ago. So got a new one in there, that's taken care of. So we did a carb rebuild, new piston, new used flywheel. So I just had to find one that's not broken. So replace the flywheel, brand new piston, carb rebuild kit. Guys, what else am I missing? New spark plug, obviously. What else did we do, guys? I think we did some more stuff. I'm trying to keep track of the video, the video log stuff. That might have been it for brand new parts. Again, the engine work specifically was just the piston. The crankshaft was good. The rod was good. I had all the needle bearings, so all that's great shape, perfect. The crank seals I left alone. Again, I didn't replace those. We'll see if those become a problem. I don't know. I'm going to check the compression in a little bit after I've done more testing and things like that. If the compression holds to what I tested originally, about 91 psi, I'm going to assume the crank seals are good. And I know I don't have any. I don't think I have any air leaks on any gaskets I put in. And if I do, I can fix that. I'll just put some sealing around that. The only thing that I have to look up on this saw, I'm not familiar. So when I was tuning my carburetor, it's like we were getting a little fuel coming back from the carburetor. It might be a reed valve issue. I don't know. I have to look that up. But also the one that a little more concerning. I don't know if this is a concern, but we were getting some like fuel sputtering out of the decompression valve right here. Is that normal? I don't know. I have to do more research and figure that out. It didn't seem to be affecting anything, but that's what I was noticing. Because you can see on the top of the exhaust, I don't know if you will, there's some fuel on there, guys. So that has to be coming from the decompression valve is what I saw. Unless, the only way it would not have been is if my seal around the exhaust is bad and it was sputtering out of there, which I highly doubt, but it may be a possibility. So those are the only immediate points of concern that I'm going to have to look into. I don't think I'll have to get any parts. I think it's just, again, a tuning problem. I think I'm just sending way too much fuel into the cylinder. So I think it's just a tuning problem, but I got to do a lot of research and studying to figure out how to tune this the best. I've tuned some other stuff before, but I don't feel like I have a good understanding or grasp of it. Like if I'm trying to develop based on how you hear it, how do you interpret that to be like, oh yeah, just dial your low jet back half a turn. That's what I'm trying to get to, but that just comes through time. So I'm not there yet. Hopefully one day I'll be there. I don't know. I'm learning from guys on YouTube who are way more knowledgeable on the subject than I am. I'm just somebody out here just working on this stuff for fun. So I just wanted to make an old engine run again, and that's what I've done. So I set out on my goal, and I think I've accomplished it, at least for my purposes. So I'm happy about that. Learned a ton. It was fun. But I learned so much from so many YouTube channels about chainsaws. So really thankful for all the people who post those. I don't know. I watched like Tin Man Saws is a good one. I watched Leon's Chainsaw Repair for this saw in particular. That was a great one. There was another one I'm forgetting. Those are just a couple though. The YouTube space is just real neat. You can learn anything you want to if you just take the time to study it, and you can figure it out and do it yourself. I got to make some notes on this chainsaw for sure, especially because again I am going to port the chainsaw. I have to make some notes to figure out how I want to make this. I'm leaning towards overall speed, but my assumption is that when I put this into logs, it's probably going to shift guys to more torque. I don't know, we'll see. That's my guess, but I got to make some notes and get the timing numbers. And then once I get the timing numbers, once I get the tune to a spot where I'm comfortable with it, and once I get the timing numbers the way it is, from there I'm then going to begin the porting work. So I got to disassemble a bunch of stuff. Because I've posted so much content about this saw already, I don't know how much content I'm going to do me taking apart the saw, just because I feel like it'll be a repeat. I mean, you can trace back. I've pretty much taken apart, making a video on every major part of this saw, from disassembly to assembly. So hopefully that just acts as like a video log if I ever run into trouble again. But if you guys need to just quick reference something, at least it gives you a visual, I think, of what's happening. So once I get the timing numbers logged, then I'm going to do research again to figure out how do I get the timing numbers to where I want them to be to produce the outcome that I want. That's the part that's going to be the biggest. That's kind of the biggest unknown for me right now, because I don't know how, the timing numbers. I don't know how that variable plays into producing a higher torque curve, or b just higher overall RPM. Because higher RPM, I think, typically means lower torque, but we'll see. So that's what I got to figure out. But as far as how it is now, it is a rebuilt saw. It just needs a tune, but I think it's running fine. I think it's all functioning correctly for. Again, this is a vintage saw, so it's 45, maybe 50 years old. It's an old saw. There's going to be issues, so that's expected. But it's running. I mean, it's running great, and it'll cut once I get a chain tune. So I can't complain there. It was a ton of fun to do this. It was a difficult project. It took a while, but just being out here, like, hanging out, working on it, I mean, I don't know, it was great. So for sure we're gonna do another one, guys. Man, yeah, it was a ton of fun doing this, but we have a lot of work to do, porting wise. I should make a note, if you've been watching along on the channel at all, on the shorts or the full length videos, I'm gonna have some more content coming up, I think, focused on some woodworking stuff. I got a couple woodworking projects, hopefully going to be starting, so I think I'll be going to a wood shop here soon, looking at some slabs. So I might just get some footage of that or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I'm gonna have a lot more footage on the saw overall for the porting work. I don't know how long that's gonna take me. Disassembly shouldn't take me that long, assuming how much time I have. I think the studying will take too long. It's just figuring out what do I want to do. Because I want to do it right. I want to do this one right. I ported my weed whacker, but that was just like for fun. Let's just make this thing crazy. So I really wasn't focused on the numbers at all. This one I'm more focused on the specific timing numbers. I wanted to try to get more technical with it. So that's gonna take a little bit. So I'm for sure gonna make videos of me porting the saw. What am I trying to say? Porting the exhaust and intake ports. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the transfers yet. I haven't decided. Everything else should be the same. I don't think we're gonna have to do any more rebuild work on the saw. I think we did. I think we did a nice job. I say we. You two. I think I did a decent job on the saw. Made mistakes, learned a ton, but these are all notes that I'm going to hang on to for the next saw for sure. Whenever that may be, hopefully soon. We'll see. I've been looking around online for a saw that we can get. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. We hit over 1,000 subscribers. I mean, that's crazy. So I don't know if I called that out in the last video or not. I'm not sure. That's awesome. So hopefully we can continue growing the videos and the community, and yeah, we'll see where this goes. Anyway, guys, really appreciate it. Thanks. Have a good one.